Hi everyone, welcome back. So I have always been a sucker for the combination between polished copper and black steel, and I have always wanted to make one of these coffee scoops. So today's the day, and let me show you how I did it. Here I have a copper disc that is 60 by 1.5 millimeter. And I have made a kind of makeshift swage block out of a 2x4 here, which I have secured to a wooden stump. I'm going to use the swage block and a ball peen hammer to hammer down to get the initial shape of the coffee scoop. And while striking on copper, it actually work hardens quite a bit. So to get it soft and nice to work with again, we have to anneal it. And to anneal it, we go to the forge and heat it up until it's kind of dark gray-ish in color. And then we quench it off in cold water. So now that the copper is annealed and back to its soft state again, it's much easier to continue to form the scoop. Okay, so now the copper disc has its rough form. Now I'm going to go back and anneal it one more time to make it soft again. Then I'm going to take this steel ball that I've just welded onto a piece of square bar, and I'm going to drive it down into the swage block to refine the shape of the copper disc a bit more. I think I'm gonna anneal it one more time, and you guys know the drill by now, so I won't show you that. Okay, so as you can see, the edges aren't really following along, so I'm gonna put the steel ball in the vise and try to hammer down the edges to get them smooth. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with the edges. So now we can place the copper disc on the ball and start hammering in some texture. I'm going to start off in the middle and go around in a circular pattern, careful not to double hit too much. Okay, so now that we're done texturing the backside of the coffee scoop, I'm going to take some sandpaper against a flat surface and sand down all the edges so they get smooth and at the same level. Okay, so now that we're done with the copper disc, we can actually start forging out the handle. And we could go with a square bar and make a fancy twist or something, but today I think we're going to go as clean as possible. So here I have a 10mm round bar that I'm going to forge down like a flat spoon shape to begin with. Now I'm going to take the crosspin hammer and try to get some width, forging like this, and it's going to spread the material that way and that way. So now we have just about twice the thickness from when we started. So double the width. It's actually longer than I need it to be, so I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna take off maybe a centimeter, 10mm. Okay, plan B. While I have it in the vise, I'm gonna touch up the profile a bit, file in the edges and smooth out this area and so on. So now I'm gonna create a curve in this part to match the copper bowl. And to do that, I'm gonna heat it up in the forge and come back here to the vise and place it here in between the jaws. Then I'm gonna take the crosspin hammer and hit in the middle. I have this hollowed out steel bowl that has pretty much the same form as the copper disc or bowl, so I can test fit against that. A little bit too much. A bit more. here at the top. That's a pretty good fit. Now we just need to bend this about 60 degrees. So we don't get a ladle. We want a scoop. So while I was bending it, the portion that we scooped out took a bend, so I'm gonna try to fix that by hitting it on the steel ball here again to make it round again. Okay, so now we get to choose how long the handle is gonna be. And I think it's gonna be good right here where I made a mark. So after I cut it off, I'm gonna forge a bit of a flat area, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna forge in a bit of a bend, just a slight bend, to make it more comfortable in the hand. And since my hacksaw broke, angle grinder it is. So now I'm gonna put that slight bow or curve in the handle, and I'm gonna do that with a piece of wood over the horn of the anvil. Okay, so now that we're done with the copper bowl and the handle, I'm gonna make some marks and go drill the holes for the rivets. Before I rivet the pieces together, I'm gonna use an angle grinder with the wire wheel disc on to clean it up. Then I'm gonna heat up the handle, and I'm gonna use a food safe mineral oil to give it its black finish. Okay, so let's heat it up and apply some oil. So I made 2 marks there, but I'm actually gonna drill one and rivet one before I drill the other hole, just to make sure that the holes line up. Before I rivet this completely shut, I'm gonna make sure it lines up and looks good. And then I'm gonna drill the second hole, and then we finish up the riveting. And there we have it, all finished up. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.